Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to Dr. Kim's Going Live. My name is Lara. Dr. Kim, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good this morning. Just Tuesday morning. Cannot believe it's already the 10th of August. And wow, it's just amazing. Kids here are starting back to school this week. So that's a big deal. I can remember always hating the start of school. I remember going
No.
into stores when I was a kid, and when they had back to school stuff off, just this knot in my stomach would come. But then when I get to school year, it was fine. But it was just like summer's just, I love summer.
Oh, I was the same way. I remember every morning my mom would wake me up the first day of school, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I do not want to go. I want to
Yeah.
stay at home and do all these cool things. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think with COVID being so crazy last year, I feel like kids are probably just excited to get out of their houses and to go see their friends and to learn something.
I think so too. I think my grandkids would all echo that. Definitely,
Yeah,
they are ready to be in school.
I know. And I don't even want to talk about what could happen in the future with COVID getting bad again. Everything's great now. And so I
Let's keep
hope
it
and
that
pray
way.
that it just stays the same way.
I know the kids need a normal school year.
You know. Well, today on the show, we're just going to be discussing the awesome marriage, just schedule what's going on this week. We think that you guys are going to be really interested in it. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section below. We would be happy to answer them. So this week on the Awesome Marriage Podcast, which comes out every Tuesday, so today, the title is When do you need marriage counseling? And that's episode 478. And Dr. Kim, you have a quote that I really loved. It says, good counsel and wisdom made a difference in our marriage, and I think you will never regret doing it. So I have a quick question. When did you and Nancy ever go to marriage counseling?
We did early in the early years, and I can't remember exactly what year it was that we did. But yeah, we went to a guy, and it was just helpful. I mean,
Yeah.
and obviously that was before I was a counselor, and so, but I did some training counseling, and I got to see some other counselors work with people, and just seeing what a difference counseling can make for someone. And I have couples, and we talk about in the podcast that come in just for tune-ups. And we have couples that come in that are in the middle of a crisis, and um, try to help all of them. Yeah, but I think counseling is something we all benefit from.
So in the podcast today, we just have different couples who just discuss kind of like their time in counseling and how it helped them.
Yes.
I love that so much. And I think that everybody can benefit from counseling. And I love you always say this, and I will always remember it. A marriage is always either moving forward or backwards. It never stays in neutral. And do you think that there's ever signs that we get that is showing us that our marriage is moving forward or is moving backwards?
I think the signs, yeah, I think we do. I mean, I think if you feel connected, if you feel like, you just can't wait to see each other or that you enjoy each other's time together, then you're moving forward. If you start dreading being around your spouse or you feel like, who is this person?
Yeah.
This person, just stranger that's living with me, then you're moving backwards. And I just think you do go one or the other. And one of the things about the counseling deal, I mean, the marriage can only be as healthy as the people that are in it are. So if I'm unhealthy, even if Nancy's completely healthy, our marriage is going to be limited because I'm not willing to get the help I need, or we get the help together.
And do you think that if you have kids, do you think that they suffer from that as well?
Oh yeah, kids. I think at certain ages, kids are more aware. Usually, and sometimes it's not until they happen to be at a friend's house and see that friend's parents reacting different than theirs, and they realize, oh, all parents aren't like this. All parents don't act like this.
Yeah.
But yes, it affects kids. It
Yeah.
definitely does. And we wanted a healthy home life for our kids to grow up in. We didn't want them worried about mom and dad or anything like that. We want them to be kids and learn and grow and all those kind of things.
Yeah. Do you think that marriage, like couples ever have seasons of like good phases and bad phases? Or do you think that there are ever certain years that are going to be more challenging than others? Or do you think that it's just completely up to each couple?
No, I think there's always challenges, and a lot of them we can't anticipate everything. I think what we learned is that to go through them together, and that even if it was a challenge or a hard time, we would come out stronger on the other end. If we didn't go through them together, then it could set us back. And so I think we always have to enjoy those times when things are really going well, and know that probably there's going to be another time that's going to be a struggle in some ways, and that you go through those together.
Yeah.
That's what makes the difference.
Yeah. So if I today I've been thinking about, hey, I think that we might need to go to counseling. Would you recommend me go to counseling?
Yes.
Okay. So if it's even a thought, it's probably time to go.
Well, and I think too, the couples I see that, and most of them are couples that I have worked with or done their wedding or something like that. They'll come in periodically, every 6 months or once a year, and it's interesting. We always find something to talk about and give them to work on. So I think it's establishing a relation. I've got some families that I've seen probably for 20 years.
Yeah.
Maybe I saw them newlyweds, maybe I saw them with kids, different stages, and just for them when it's time to go to counseling, they already have a relationship with me. They can come and they don't have to give a lot of history because they know the history. And
Yeah.
so we can pick up, okay, this is going, okay, this is what we can do to help that.
Yeah. That's great. And if you guys want to check out the Awesome Marriage podcast, just go to awesomemarriage.com, and then the podcasts are going to be on the front page. And you can listen to all of them or just the one from today. And okay, so for the next topic, we're going to be discussing a Better Man podcast. And this just comes out once a month, and it's with Colby Taylor. And so this week's episode is conviction versus condemnation. And can you just kind of explain a little bit what this episode's about?
Yeah, I think a lot of times and guys, all of us can do in this, like get into this, but certainly, we have a tendency, I think God convicts us of things. God has a plan for our lives. And so he convicts us. And in that conviction, it is to be aware of what we're doing wrong or sin, and then what we can do with his help to do better. Condemnation, I think, comes from the enemy. It's when he feels you're so bad, you can't do everything right. You'll never be a good husband. You'll never be a good father. And so you just feel beat down. God doesn't beat us down. He makes us aware of things to build us up and show us that he's there to help us get better. And so that's kind of the principle behind this podcast. Obviously, it is geared more for men, but I know we have a number of women that listen. And I think the women that listen is trying to understand their husbands a little bit better, because we try to do it, kind of very open and raw about what's going on. And so I think this is a good one, because I think a lot of guys fall into this, and some of the time it goes back to your family of origin. Some of it's just the culture we live in.
Yeah. So how do we know really the difference? I know that you said that conviction's more from God and condemnation's more from the devil or evil. How can we tell from a day-to-day basis what is the difference between the two?
That's a really good question, because I think sometimes it can get mixed up depending on what our background has been. To me, if I'm praying and I'm reading the Bible, I think it's pretty obvious to me when it's conviction.
Okay.
And there's not this sense of yes, I can feel bad about it or whatever. It's not and guilt, but there's not the shame. There's not because God forgives and God redeems and God has a better plan. The condemnation, I think, is where you just continue to feel worse and worse about yourself, and just kind of where you just give up.
Yeah.
And I think at that point is when you go to God and say, I need your help. I need to, I know I want your forgiveness for these things. And then I want to move forward and in a relationship with you.
Yeah, that's so good. And I think that so many people struggle with that just from a day-to-day basis. It's, everybody has their problems and everyone has their issues, but it's if we're actually turning those problems over, or if we're just, pushing them down further and further each day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you guys can check that out I think it's on the Awesome Marriage podcast still. And if you can't find it there, you can go to any major podcast app and just type in a Better Man podcast and it will pop up.
Yes.
And then the third thing that we're going to be talking about is this week's vlog. And the vlog comes out every Friday. And the vlog this week is the three of us. And I also really love this one because you talk a lot about putting God first and your spouse second. In this vlog, are you just kind of explaining what that means more in depth?
Yeah, I'm trying to be more practical about it. And what does that really look like? Because it sounds nice to all of us, but what does that do when you play it out day to day? And how does God work in that? And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do in this blog.
Yeah, I think that's so great. And then you can find that where we have that on our social media or our YouTube page. You can check that out just at awesome_marriage. And we have all of our other videos up on the YouTube page. So please go ahead and check that out. And then we spoke last week a little bit about the family prayer challenge, but that is our Awesome Marriage resource for this month. And Dr. Kim, you and Nancy are going live on Instagram Tuesday just to kind of go over some prayer requests. Are you guys excited about that?
Yeah, it is. We really had fun with it last week, and we've got the list, and we continue to pray for those people. But yeah, it was just really, it was a neat experience for us. I hope people liked it. But if you never prayed together or don't know where to start, watch us. Watch what we do. We don't make it complicated, but just so I'd love for you guys to join us next Tuesday.
Yes, and if you have any prayer requests, please go ahead and send them to us. We will take care of them, even if Dr. Kim and Nancy don't have time to do it while they're live. Like he said, we do it on, off script too. So please go ahead and send that over to us. And if you want to grab the resource that I mentioned earlier, the Family Prayer Challenge, just go to awesomemarriage.com/family-prayer-challenge, and you can donate any amount to receive it. And that is unfortunately all the time that we have for today. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to send them to us, and we will see you guys next week.
Have a good week.